Today, I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over some cards that are absolutely tanking right now in price, and kind of giving you guys an overview on whether if you own the card, you should sell it, or if you should buy the dip. So without further ado, we are going to hop right into this video. So as you guys know, the basketball offseason is upon us, and that of course causes prices to dip quite a lot. And as we can see in the CL50 index, which is essentially the 50 most popular cards, the monthly changes down 7%, and quarterly we're down over 12%. So of course the market is very soft right now, and certain cards are really getting beat up more than others. What I have noticed is that alternative sports cards are doing a lot better right now. We're seeing a lot of other cards outpace basketball cards, and that's just the current truth of it. There's a lot of iconic cards such as Jackie Robinson, Mickey Mantle, that aren't doing too bad. In fact, Wayne Gretzky's even up. So there's a lot of cards that are still, in the mix. But when I think about cards that are going down, I look at players who got, eliminated from the NBA playoffs. And one of them comes to mind is Kevin Durant. As you can see, his index is down over 41%, in the last 3 months, which is a very big amount, a very significant amount. And some cards that have really tanked that I'm really looking at to buy right now personally is Kevin Durant's Refractor PSA 10 that is all the way down to $9,000. As you can see, the pop is $193. This is by far Kevin Durant's, in my opinion, most important card if you ignore his, RPAs and exquisites, which of course command a much greater price. If we're looking at Kevin Durant's Refractor for $9,000 with the pop of $193, I personally am a buyer. This was a $21,000 card. In fact, I think this card peaked above $50,000. And so right now it's currently down to $9,000. If you want, I guess, of course, LeBron is much higher on the all-time rankings. But if you look at LeBron's Refractor in a PSA 10, even after it's gone down so much, it's still up at $54K. So I think this is a little bit of a value buy for next year. Of course, the stakes for Kevin Durant are much lower. I think there's not as much of expectations right now because they did get swept in the playoffs. So if he does come back with a solid season next year, I expect this Refractor PSA 10 to be back at around $20,000 to $25,000 personally, if they are able to get things together and make a playoff push next year. So I'm personally a buyer all day at $9,000, but of course that's my personal opinion. But without further ado, we're gonna hop right into another players market which is really down, which is Luka Doncic. And I kind of have a greater kind of commentary that I want to put on Luka Doncic's cards because Luka is of course one of the best young players out there. He's getting a lot of help, I think. At least there's hope that he's going to get a lot of help. He already got Christian Wood. And, the Mavs are either kind of in a crossroads where they have to really build around Luka Doncic and go all in, or, Luka might have to proceed elsewhere because at some point the Mavericks have not given him much help at all, and he's still made the Western Conference Finals, which is incredibly impressive. Now, the thing with Luka Doncic's cards is they are way too many. I'm scrolling right here for over a minute right now and just looking at all the different cards Luka Doncic has that investors are buying into. And the pops are not low either. A lot of these pop over 500, pop 800, and not to mention his more important cards, which have a much higher population, such as his Prism rookie cards, and his Prism Silvers even have an incredibly high pop. I mean, this pop is over 18,000, which at some point, we could take a look at, for example, Shaq's market. And a lot of people are scared of his Topps base PSA 10 because the pop is 4,000. And this card goes for $134. And I think Luka Doncic would be lucky to end up with a career like Shaq did, right? Like a top 10 player of all time, incredibly iconic player. And this card is down to $134. And Luka Doncic's pop is around 4.5 times the pop of Shaquille O'Neal's base tops. And so if we look at those numbers, they personally really scare me. I think at some point Luka Doncic's cards are really going to take a hit, because no matter how great of a player he is, say he turns into the next Michael Jordan, and becomes the face of the NBA, at some point with the populations this high, unless sports cards continue to grow astronomically, which I personally think they will. At some point, I think Fanatics is going to really bring the mainstream into the sports card hobby. But at some point, I think you're much better off buying other young players, or if you're buying into Luka Doncic's market, going for more low pop autographs, I think are going to perform incredibly well in the long term. And so that's where I see a lot of opportunity. I'm personally buying the dip for a lot of low pop autographs that are important to his career. I think his international ticket autograph is a very important autograph to his career. It's kind of like the Panini Contenders, one of the first, draft picks autographs of him. Has a low pop, very nice design in my opinion. A lot of people love the design. Of course, it is a sticker auto, but I still think it's going to hold great long-term value, being a rookie auto of Luka Doncic's. And then if you want to go for a little bit more high end, a card like this, which peaked around $20,000 and it has a pop of 75, I think it's going to do incredible in the long term. So if you're wanting to buy this at a steep discount at around $4,000, I think that's an incredible buy right now. So it just really depends on, what aspect of Luka Doncic's market you're going for. I think if you play it smart and go for his low pop, you're going to get great returns. If you, try to be a little bit ambitious and go for his higher pop cards, it's kind of, I personally just see less growth. So as you can see, a pop of 24 on the PSA 10. I'm a buyer for this personally. I think there's a lot of great opportunities. And Luka Doncic's high-end market is still staying quite strong. You can look at his red choice. It's down 8% when his overall market is down 22% or around 20%, right? And so that's how you can really differentiate. You see his silver, which will definitely be down more than 8%. His silver's down 33%, and his lower pop choice red, for example, is down 8%. So we're already starting to see the trend that I've been talking about. If you're going for the lower pop stuff, when the market goes down, you're going to see less, damage. And when the market goes up, I think you will see more upside. So I think it's an overall better idea to be going for lower pop stuff. Now, there's, of course, a lot of other indexes which are down a heavy amount. We've seen football really tank, especially Patrick Mahomes, losing Tyreek Hill, kind of in a position where people might be doubting his future a little bit. Of course, he's still one of the GOATs of the sport right now. But, if you look at this market, you could see opportunity if you are a believer in the Chiefs next season. So if you believe in the Chiefs, I think it's a great time to look at Patrick Mahomes and potentially buy up some cards of his that are down heavily, such as his rookie ticket autograph, which is down to around $36K. I understand that's a little bit higher than a lot of people's budget, but cards like that are down a lot that I think have good room for growth. So definitely a lot of these markets are down. If we keep scrolling, we're going to see a lot of other young players in basketball that are down, such as Trae Young. We're even going to see Anthony Edwards down a little bit, but Anthony Edwards has really been kind of outperforming, his expectations so far. So that's been great. But even guys like Tatum, who made the finals, are really seeing their prices go down. So you definitely want to, at this point in the market, I would say buy what you believe in. The last thing you want is the market to come back, but the card that you bought didn't come back. And so just definitely buy what you believe in. If you believe in a player, if you believe in a team, if you believe in a certain set, if you believe in a, wax box, whatever it is you believe in, now's the time to buy those up, because at some point you're buying it at such a big, discount that you can see a lot of growth and less kind of downside if you buy the right things. If you look at some higher pop cards of younger players, I would say more base prisms, you're going to see prices go down a lot. But if you're looking for even a little bit, lower pop stuff, such as if you're investor in Trae Young, buying his green prism, which has a population of just 700, which is very good for a 2018 card. This card's only down 7% when the overall Trae market's down over 15%. Now, if you look at his base, it's down more than 15%. So the same exact patterns continue to arise. If you're buying up these high pop stuff, you got to prepare to get beaten up. Whereas if you're buying a little bit lower pop stuff, even when the market's down, you may lose 7%. And that's kind of the way I look at it. If you're buying up even lower pop stuff, I would say it really depends. You want to buy stuff that are in demand, which I totally understand. A lot of these variations are kind of losing a little bit of momentum, and that is natural in any market. But if you're buying up these important cards, such as a Tiger Stripe with a pop of 25, you're going to do really well in the long term, is what I personally believe. If Trae Young pans out, this is going to be, I don't know. Who knows, right? How expensive this card can be. And if you're looking, you can compare to sets. If you look at Luka Doncic's Tiger in kind of comparison to get a kind of gauge on where you're investing in. This was a $41,000 card. In fact, at one point, this was almost a six-figure card, and it's currently down to $20,000. So if you're a Luka Doncic investor, if you're a Trae Young investor, if you're even a Michael Porter investor, which I think at some point, buying up players when they are out of, the public eye a little bit is a very good opportunity. And one guy I look at is Michael Porter, because people have kind of forgotten how great this kid is because of his injury. And so if you're buying up, a very low pop Michael Porter, important card such as a Blue Prism, if Michael Porter has a good year next year, I could see this being, around a $5,000, $6,000 card, if not a lot more. I could personally see this being a $10,000 card if it pans out. So buy in the players you believe. I'm not telling you who to buy into, but I'm telling you to buy into the players you believe. And if you believe in Michael Porter Jr., I think this is an incredible buy. There's a lot of other players such as Jamal Murray who are really, just coming back from injury. You look at Kawhi Leonard, of course, one of the greatest in the game right now, and his prices are at a all-time low for the last few years, and you can buy some incredibly important cards of his as for the superstar he is for such a low price, comparatively, and for such a discount. So if you're wanting to buy up, a player, if you believe in the Clippers next year, if you believe Kawhi is going to be back to superstar level, this card is not going to be a $4,700 card for first year Prism, Pop 40, most important card of Kawhi's career, and of course he doesn't have many other options. So if you're a buyer in Kawhi Leonard, this is a card I would buy. If you believe in these guys who are down so much, you can make so much money, but you have to play it safe, and you have to know, or I won't say you have to play it safe, but you have to play it smart. You have to understand the risk you're taking and the upside you could potentially have. I think the lowest this card could ever go, given Kawhi's a two-time Finals MVP, I don't think this card can ever go below $3,000-$4,000. And that's my personal opinion. Who knows? I may be wrong. But I think the upside on this card could go up to $20,000, $25,000, as we saw it not long ago. So I definitely think the upside is worth the potential risk of the downside. So that's the kind of thinking that I do. And I think I encourage you guys to have that same sort of mindset. Obviously, no one can predict the bottom, but if you can kind of understand, okay, if I'm buying in at this card, I'm willing to take the risk because I know the upside that could be had with this card. But I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you would like to join in on the program to get my personal picks, the link will be down below to sportscardsinvest.com. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm out. Peace.